Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about some teas and the different blends that I like to make. So let's get started. Now right over here on these shelves that Mr. Rain built for me not too long back, you can see I have all these different jars, and what's in here are different herbs and different tea blends, or just teas, period. And when I say teas, I'm actually talking about herbs. I don't actually have any true teas over here. These are all just herbs that I make into an herbal infusion, also known as tea or herbal tea. And so in this jar here, I have my dehydrated organic orange peel, and you can find a video on that right up here, and some of the different things I use orange peel for. The big pieces I leave for using in tea. I've got some Ceylon cinnamon sticks, not cassia cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon, and those are organic. I will link to these below, and any of the other herbs that I mentioned that I don't already grow and that I buy, I will link to those below. In here I have passion flower, licorice root, dandelion root, marshmallow root. This is woolly lamb's ear, and you can find a video on the woolly lamb's ear right up here and why you should grow it. This is Rubus Tea. This is I don't grow this one. It comes from South Africa, but I do buy this one online on Amazon. This is my tea blend, and I have a video on the tea blend. This is actually still last year's tea blend, but you can see the blend I did this year right up here. Now this one actually has marshmallow root, like this stuff here that I bought from Mountain Rose Herbs, and because I haven't started digging up my own marshmallow roots yet. And this one also has dandelion flowers, which I didn't collect as many dandelion flowers this last year, so I didn't put them in my tea blend. And let me leave that one out because I'm going to be using it. And then in here are marshmallow leaves and flowers, and I would also suggest, if you don't grow this, these came from my garden, but you can also find these on Mountain Rose Herbs. I couldn't find a good one on Amazon that I felt good about when it came to the marshmallow, so those two I recommend going there. Everything else you can get on Amazon through my affiliate link there. Now when I'm making my regular just garden herb tea blend, and you are using this to make my herbal infusion, I use my own homemade tea bag, as you can see right here, and I have a video on how to make these right up here. There also are other options. At the time, I was looking to see if I could find a really big tea ball, one that would be good for a whole teapot in stainless steel, and I couldn't find one, so I just got some cotton cloth that I had on hand and some organic cotton yarn and made the drawstring and just made my own tea bags that were big enough for a pot, because I like to brew my tea in a whole pot rather than just a cup at a time, because Mr. Rain and I will both drink on this in the evenings, and sometimes I'll have whatever's left over in the morning. And by the way, I got this silver teapot at a garage sale for $5. That might sound like a lot for a garage sale find, but I knew it was real silver, so I had to have it. And I love that thing. So when I'm making this my own blend and I'm using this bag, I want to show you how much. I had to move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing here. This right here is the amount I put in. Now let me see if I can measure that out, since I have little hands and that might be hard to tell. That's probably about a 1/4 cup, and sometimes I'll put in a little bit more into my bag. And then sometimes I will add more things to this bag, like red pepper flakes. Usually all I put in the bag is anything that's smaller, like the herbs and the pepper flakes. Now if I want a spicy tea and I don't feel like using the pepper flakes, I'll use these red peppers right here, and usually what I'll do is I'll break one in half and toss it in there like that. And that will just add a little bit of spice. Now this might be all I'm in the mood for tonight. However, some other things I like to add is an orange peel or two, if I feel like I need a little more vitamin C. And if I'm in the mood for some cinnamon, I might add some of that. Just a cinnamon stick. And cloves is another one of my favorite. And this obviously is the blend I'm making for tonight. And then I'm going to show you another blend that I really, really enjoy that I just started doing. And then what I do is I bring this to a boil, and then I just, you know, on my wood stove, and then I just let it, then I put it on a trivet and then just let it steep and kind of, you know, stay real hot for several hours because I like it really, really strong. I want as much herbs infused into my tea as possible. Now another thing I might add to this blend or any other blend is my special mixed spice blend. And you can find a video on this right up here. But basically it's just a mix of ground cloves, ginger, Ceylon cinnamon, cayenne pepper, and nutmeg. Sometimes I have nutmeg in there, and ground orange peel in here as well. So what I'll do with this is I'll probably add about, because this is quite spicy, that much is all I need in a pot. And that will just give a little extra spice, especially if I feel like there's lots of colds and flus going around, then I want that extra spice in there to help my body prevent catching that crud. Now, let's move on to another one of my newer blends that I'm really enjoying. Okay, this is hot because it has just plain water in it. I had it on the stove just for adding when I do my jet-fueled latte, and you can find that video right up here. I like to, sometimes there'll still be some stuff at the bottom, so then I'll have some hot water going and I'll just keep adding it to it until I get it all drank up. So there's a little bit of hot water in here already, and I might end up drinking 2 teas tonight. But anyway, what I have here are some Calendula flowers. These ones are from this year, and I really love the colors because this year I got yellow and orange flowers instead of just orange, so I got a little bit more color blend. So when I'm using stuff like this, I don't even bother with the tea bag. I just throw a good sized pinch in there. And then pansies, about that much again of the pansies. One thing that I tend to like a lot with the pansies are my marshmallow leaves and flowers. Now you can make your blend whatever you feel like. It doesn't have to be anything that I do. I'm just showing you this one I came up with the other day and was just so thrilled with it. And then I went ahead, see, I don't always do the cinnamon and cloves and orange, but in this one I did, and this was like one of my very favorite blends. So a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of orange peel. Put a couple of those in. Again, I stress that if you're going to use the peel of your oranges, make sure you buy organic oranges. Though citrus is one of the clean 15, if you're wanting to use the peels, you need to go with the organic. Then I like to use whole cloves, and these also are organic. And this is going to be definitely a matter of choice how much you use. You may only want to put that much. I love lots of cloves, lots of strong clove flavor. I'll put as much as this in, and it does make it very strong. And then again, I just top off with my filtered rainwater and do the same thing again. I heat it until it's really hot and then set it up on a trivet and then just let it simmer for a couple hours. So all those herbs really get infused. It's almost more closer to being a decoction rather than just an infusion, because I cook it down and let it get real strong, and then if I need to, I'll add more water to it. But I just want to make sure I'm getting all the good medicinal properties out of all of my herbs. Now, some other options are the Rubus tea by itself is really good, and I do have a video on this, and you can find that right up here. A lot of times when I make the Rubus tea, I just keep it simple. I have found that certain things, I don't like to add too much flavor to this one because the flavor of the Rubus kind of overpowers the other stuff, and it's just a nice flavor as is. if I'm going to add anything to this one, it's only going to be something like, I'm not going to put in cloves with this, you know, not something that's going to rival it as strong as that, but maybe a cinnamon stick and some orange peel at most. That's pretty much all I do. And this is a really good healthy tea for you. And I suggest go watching that video because I believe, if I remember, it was a while ago, I talk about the health benefits of the Rubus tea. And then the woolly lamb's ear, this is another really healthy choice. And even though the flavor is extremely mild, it's a very pleasant flavor. It makes a really wonderful herbal infusion just by itself. But me being one that likes lots of flavor, I always tend to add quite a bit more. So if I was going to do this, I'd probably be more like apt to add a little bit of this to it as well. But again, this is good on its own. Now the dandelion root, to me, I don't really like the flavor of the tea that it makes, but I may throw this in because of the medicinal benefits in the dandelion root. And I think I do talk about that in my video where that I did early last spring about when I was collecting dandelion root and talking about how I used it. I think I went over the medicinal benefits, and if I'm not out of cards up here, I'll go ahead and link to that video right up here as well. And then these two, the licorice root and the passion flower. I believe I got the passion flower at Mountain Rose as well. But if I can find an Amazon link to a brand I trust, I'll put that down below, or you can go check Mountain Rose for that. Both of these are really good at helping induce relaxation and thus sleep. And the licorice root has a nice flavor. It tastes like licorice, just like you would expect. So if we're having, you know, if one of us is kind of stressed out and are not sleeping really good, we'll do that. You know, I also have my deep sleep tincture as well. But if I don't want to go with the tincture, we'll just make tea. Sometimes I try to just do it as a tea so we can save the tincture for when we really need it. The passion flower, the flavor I don't care for, so I'm definitely going to, when I use this one, spice it up quite a bit. And marshmallow root, since I didn't mix it into this year's blend, I might, when I get to this year's blend, I'll probably throw some of this in there. My whole goal was to see how much tea I could get out of just my own garden grown things. So I didn't put any of that marshmallow root, since it wasn't my own, into that particular blend. And I did get quite a bit. So I'll probably still add this in just for, again, the benefits, especially if it's marshmallow root, or even the flowers and the leaves are really good if you've got any kind of problems with your throat. You know, it has great mucilaginous properties, so it will help soothe the throat, you know, helps with coughs and things like that. And it does have many other health benefits, so even if you don't have all that, it's still a good idea to get a little bit of this in your tea every day. And this has, it has a very kind of, I don't know how to describe it, rooty type smell and flavor. It's not like the leaves and the flowers have a much better flavor than the root does. However, as with most of your herbs, your medicinal herbs, you're going to find most of the health properties are going to be in the root, just like with the dandelion and the echinacea, but you can still get the same benefits out of the leaves and the flowers. All right, so I think that's about it for today, and if you have any more questions about the herbal teas, and this is why I did this, because somebody wanted me to show how I use some of my teas, and there's so many more different combinations I use. I don't have time to show them all right here, but if you have any more questions or even ideas that you want to share of what you do if you're making herbal infusions, what are your favorite blends, and go ahead and post those below in comments so that we can read about them and learn from you as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.